If you have a dream, something that you want to achieve, and it's like pervasive, persistent in you, yet you're not taking action on it, probably a good indication that there's some shame there. Fear and shame, contraction, they live together. They're not the same thing, but they live together. But you find yourself hiding and not really wanting to share yourself, not to share your perspective, or maybe you have an issue with them, but you're scared that you're going to rupture the relationship, or they won't receive you in the way that you want to be received. You find yourself holding back. Probably some shame there.
Born in 92 on the block with the Sharks. Come from a different cloth, y'all would get ripped apart. You want it diamond, then you gotta get it in the dark. We dropping nuggets like Carmelo went to Rucker Park. Now we eating from state to state, we scrape the plate. I put my eggs in a basket, took a leap of faith. I took a chance, now we grow and see the impact. Decoding success with special guests, now let's bring Matt.
Steph, first of all, welcome back to the show. This time in person nonetheless, but I'm curious, what part of yourself, or maybe ourself, has to die before real intimacy could be possible?
Oh, damn. You're straight in.
We go right in for it, man.
Oh, man. Well, there's two responses to that for me. There's two responses. One is all of you. Ooh. And the one that's more accessible and equally more elusive is shame.
Shame. So shame is what's blocking true intimacy.
Shame blocks everything good in life. And I'll elaborate, of course, but...
You know what's funny? I did not know that this was going to be your answer, but for whatever reason, you know, like there's times throughout days, your mind just like might wander off and you might think of something. And literally, before I walked into the studio today, I thought of like something that I was shameful of. And it was that I used to wet the bed way later than I felt like I should have wet the bed.
How old were you when?
This is going to turn into a therapy session, but...
Man, I love your vulnerability, brother. You're
you know, it's so crazy to me that was the first thing that you gave, because I literally just thought of that. And now I'm not, like, I'm talking about it, right?
Yeah,
I'm not ashamed of it anymore. But it was probably like 7th grade. 8th grade. 12 years old. Is that how old we are in 7th and 8th? Yeah, I guess you
12,
turned
13.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I can relate to that, man. I mean, I was wetting the bed late as well, out of fear of my father. Like, and just my environment was very volatile and violent. So I can relate to wetting the bed. I think, I can't remember how old I was when I stopped. I think maybe 8, maybe 9, somewhere there. Yeah. But I can relate to that.
Is there a difference? So you're making me think of this. What's the difference between shame and ashamed? Is there a difference?
No.
It's one and the same, it's just the feeling?
Yeah, it's more like a language construct, right? Like you're experiencing shame, you're ashamed of an action, you're ashamed of a story, you're ashamed of yourself, you're experiencing shame. I think one and the same.
One and the same.
I wouldn't get too hung up on that, yeah.
How do we eradicate shame?
Oh, yeah, I don't know if we ever eradicate shame completely. Like anything, like I don't know if we ever dissolve anything completely, or rather our relationship to that thing that we wish to change, it evolves, right? It changes. So look, we can, again, semantics maybe. How do we move through shame? So we want to go beneath, below, and beyond our shame, meaning that we want to operate from that place. Now, in order to operate and live from any place that is beneath, beyond, and below the thing that is hindering you, you must learn, again, paradoxically, like life is full of paradoxes, you must learn to be with the thing. See, what we often do with shame, because shame likes to hide, right? We often do with shame is we compartmentalize it, we hide it. And it dictates so much of our lives, because we don't want the world to see, because we think that the world may hate that part of us, they may ridicule us further, they may humiliate us, reject us, abandon us. We don't want to re-experience any of those things that maybe we experienced when we were younger, when we were feeling disempowered, when we were very sensitive and very tender to the world.
Yeah.
So how we deal with shame in more productive ways is by feeling it in safe spaces. Like that would be the sentence that I would say. How do we deal with shame? How do we eradicate shame? How do we move through shame and beyond it? We allow ourselves to express the thing that's underneath the shame, the sensitivity, in safe spaces being witnessed by other people. Because most wounds, psychological, emotional, relational wounds, occur in a relational context. They often need to be healed in the same way.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. Can I give you an example?
You could definitely give an example.
Hold that question. Though,
I had one. Yeah.
Don't let it go. So, for example, if you're a young boy growing up and your dad is making fun of, I'll give my example. Like I was quite overweight when I was a child, and my dad.
You're in great fucking shape now.
Yeah, I've been working on it for many years.
You're in great shape now.
Yeah. And I'm confident in myself now, but it took me a long time to get there.
Yeah.
My dad would poke fun at my body, right? And I don't think he meant it to hurt me, but it was his way of trying to get me to be different, right? He wasn't accepting me as I was. And then the whole paradox of, well, I put on weight to protect myself energetically, emotionally, etc. But put that aside.
Yeah.
So I then, through my teens, really struggled to be seen. So I'd wear baggy clothes, that type of thing.
Luckily, it was also the style at some point, right?
It was. You're absolutely right.
So that helps.
100% it helped. 100%. I remember wearing the, what are they called? Back in Australia, they were called cross colours. I don't know if they ever made it here. But
Cross colours?
Big baggy jeans, they were called cross colours.
Okay.
Big baggy jeans. Anyway, bad fashion. Terrible. But eventually, I started changing my body. I lost some weight.
Yeah.
Became more confident. And I started spending time with people that appreciated the physical form, that also valued their health and wellness. And then eventually it was easier to take my top off, and it was safe to do so because I wasn't being ridiculed. But more importantly, I had come to peace with who I was. Not because I transitioned, from being overweight to being more healthy and fit, but because during that process, I started realizing, I don't actually need to be ashamed of my body, irrespective of how I look, irrespective of if I'm overweight or I'm chubby or whatever it is, right? So in being with people that didn't really ridicule me and didn't care about what I look like, it helped. Didn't heal it, but it helped heal a wound around my own body perception or my own body shame. So when we heal in relational context, it's very liberating, man. There's a freedom that comes with that because we all want to be seen, heard, understood, accepted, appreciated, and respected.
Yeah.
And if we don't receive that, we often, especially from a young age, we often make it mean that there's something wrong with us, and we carry that on into our adult lives. So as adults, when we experience people loving us for who we are and accepting us and being kind to us, it decompresses the shame. We just don't feel that we need to feel it to protect ourselves anymore. We can be more open and more real in the world.
Yeah. The question I was going to ask you, and I appreciate you sharing all of that, by the way. You mentioned we have to heal it in a relationship, right?
Often, yeah.
Does it have to be a relationship like this, or could it be a relationship with ourselves?
Yeah. Yes and.
Yes and, okay.
Yeah. So with self, it will only get you so far.
Okay.
Because your concept of self was formed by your environment. The most prominent figures or landmarks in those environments are people. And so whatever you take from those people, mother, father, brother, sister, uncle, auntie, grandparents, teachers, friends, school friends, etc., that imprints upon you and your nervous system. So then what you think about yourself is a byproduct of what you make your environment mean and what those people gave you as a result of their beingness in the world. So as an adult, yes, you can absolutely go very far with being with yourself in solitude, call it healing, making whole, understanding yourself in deeper ways. But it goes a lot further when it's mirrored back to you and you're witnessed by someone else. Because why? Because we're socialized, relational beings. There's a massive value and importance placed on that. So when we receive anything from someone else, goodness, difficulty, challenge, love, it means something to us of great value.
Is there a limitation to how much that relational healing aspect of this could provide you? Meaning can that part of this healing or becoming whole, whatever it may be, does that only take you so far?
I think it's to me, I see it as a double-edged sword, or both have to occur. So you must spend time, you must arrive at a place within yourself where you feel enough and you feel like, yeah, like I'm good enough. I matter as I am. I don't need other people to validate me.
Mm-hmm.
And then be open enough to receive people's feedback that are in your life that you respect, revere and trust, that you value, to also help refine you as a human, help make you better or different, or help you expand or grow. Because when you think about life, you think about once we move beyond taking care of ourselves at a physical level, everything after that is really human to human relationships. And so most of our pain comes from human to human relationships.
Yeah.
And so when we're able to experience genuine care and love, it's deeply revealing and healing for us from another human.
Absolutely, it is. Absolutely. What would you say to someone that is listening to this, watching this right now, and maybe they're sitting there saying like, hey, like I don't know if I have shame about something that happened or whatever. How does someone, because you're pretty much saying like shame is something that hides to an extent, right?
Yeah.
So how do we know what we're shameful of?
So if you have a dream, something that you want to achieve, an experience you want to have, and it's like pervasive, persistent in you, yet you're not taking action on it, probably a good indication that there's some shame there, or you're hiding something that you're hiding from. Like you don't trust yourself to be able to execute, or you fear rejection. So fear and shame, contraction, they live together. They're not the same thing, but they live together, right?
Yeah.
If you feel that you want to speak up more in relationship with someone, like your partner, for example, but you find yourself hiding and not really wanting to share yourself, not to share your perspective, or maybe you have an issue with them, but you're scared that you're going to rupture the relationship, or they won't receive you in the way that you want to be received, or you want to be really vulnerable and share like a fantasy or a dream that you have, maybe sexually as an example, right, with your partner, but you find yourself holding back, probably some shame there. If you have a particular way you'd like to dress, but you don't because you want to hide more of your body, or you generally hide in the world. You don't take chances. You're not open in the world. You don't share with the people that are at least close to you what's important to you. Probably some shame there. I'm just giving you a stack of examples.
No,
like,
dude,
there's many
this
others.
is so
obviously.
good, and I'm like, fuck, like, am I still experiencing shame about some things?
I mean, I know I do in my life.
Really?
For sure. 100%.
Really?
Yeah. Like whenever I have if there's an ongoing conflict I have with my wife as an example, right? I'm like, fuck, I still haven't got this right. Like what, like I'm hard on myself. How do you
accept that though? Like how do you, cause I know that you're an individual who has put in the work, and obviously you help other individuals do that too. But like, how do you come to terms and accept the fact like there's more?
Yeah, because the reality is it just isn't. I don't want to go against the grain of reality. Like we're human, man, and I don't want to justify poor behavior. That's not what I'm doing.
Sure.
And we're human. Like as quote unquote evolved as I may think I am, right? There's a lot of work I still have to do. It's very humbling.
Yeah.
And it needs to be fucking humbling. That's the whole point.
Yeah. Because
in humility, the propensity for us to open to what's possible, it becomes more evident. And you can live in sort of you can live in probability, which is fear and contraction and holding back from the world, or you can live in possibility, which is very literally is like what's possible and living in that energetic. But shame here lives in probability.
Yeah.
Wants to keep us there. Shame's part of the personality as well. Like it's a way to control. Like when we hide ourselves from the world, it's a way to control. We feel safer in control. But we all know that, what magnificence really happens in that kind of safety, because there's another kind of safety, but that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about this artificial safety that's created because we're holding on to fears and trauma that's unprocessed and unresolved. Yeah. And that's where some of the shame comes in as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. When I asked you that initial question of like, hey, what part of us has to die before intimacy could be possible? You gave me two answers. You said, all of you, and then the more practical was like the shame. Talk to me about that all of you part.
Yeah. So the way I sense that and see that through the world is that we are in a constant state of growth, whether we like it or believe it or see it or not. We just the way I see it is we naturally are, because every experience we have is a new experience to our nervous system. And therefore we're just growing. Right? Like it's not, that's sort of how I logically see it. When I say all of you or all of us needs to die, is love to me is the great mystery. It's the greatest mystery. And love to me is synonymous with God, is synonymous with the great expanse, is synonymous with all these terms that the great mystery that we use to describe whatever is unknown, whatever is bigger than us, right? And so I imagine a world where, and I reflect on my own life, where in moments of intimacy, and sometimes it's sexual intimacy, sometimes it's been just with myself, with my own breath, sometimes it's been with sacrament and plant medicine, sometimes it's been many different circumstances where I've fully surrendered, or in that moment I have at least perceived and have felt to have fully let go of this identity or the layers of identity that I think is me. That is when the deepest, most profound closeness I have ever felt happens. It unravels and presents itself. And I feel that in my whole organism. And so I don't say all of us must die because all of us is not necessary or it's bad. I'm talking about stripping layers of identity that we are so attached to that we think we can't function, be, and live without. Because there's something really special that happens, man, when you let go of what you think you are or who you think you are.
It's scary to do that.
It's very scary, and it places us in a very contracted state.
Yeah.
But growth is expansion.
Yeah.
Right? Expansion is growth, and so we can't grow if we're in fear.
Yeah.
So I say, well, let's play the opposite game. Let's orient towards a thing that we really fear most, which is dropping all these identities. And let's just play with that for a moment and see what happens.
Yeah.
Feel what happens.
You know what comes up when you share this is like, this actually just came up the other day for me. I was sitting in this exact seat having a conversation with an incredible woman, and I'm thinking of Steph as, you know, that little boy that was getting poked fun at the way he looked. I think about myself, and how do we honor who we were while grieving the fact that we are expanding beyond that person? Because I'll give you an example. I was not the nicest to women in my past. I was an asshole, right? Like I think back, but like, how do I honor who that person was while I grieve to become the next version of myself? And I'm talking years ago, right? Just as an example, but like, I feel like we need to honor that person that we were. Do we not have to honor them?
No, why wouldn't we? It's shaped who you are today.
I thought it was important, right? And I'm sitting here hearing you talk about like expanding and evolving and all of these things, and I'm like, how do we honor and grieve at the same time?
Self-love, self-acceptance, self-worth.
3 things, just that simple.
But you've got to genuinely love yourself. Again, not from a place of, I'm going to love myself and conveniently forget about the actions that I've taken that have hurt others and hurt myself, that have the intention of those actions have come from an unconscious, unresolved, wounded place, and I'll just keep doing that because now I love myself. But it's about embracing. Here's maybe an analogy that may fit. Let's say I came to you and I had a briefcase full of money. So it's $100 million tax free. I imagine that would be pretty significant.
Beautiful, especially in New York.
Maybe let's make it 500 million.
Even better.
It's in New York. You would be pretty happy like you are now.
Very.
Yeah.
Very.
But if I said, hey, here's a briefcase full of all your shame and all the shit you've done to people in the past where you were less conscious, less aware of yourself, you were more selfish, and you've got to face these things and actually be with these things and reconcile these things through whatever processes you go, would you be as equally as excited?
No, probably
not. No, you
not.
wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Naturally, right? You're not wrong for doing that. Like we have desirable states of being and undesirable. And facing our shadows is undesirable. It's not comfortable, right?
Yeah.
We live in an age, in a society of comfort. So part of that reconciliation process, when I say self-love, self-acceptance, and self-worth, is learning to be with and embrace the parts of you that you don't like, that you may deem to be ugly, that live in your shadow, that are uncomfortable to be with, and to be able to speak to them, but not from a place of shame and victim, but from a place of neutrality, like neutral charge, right? Like equilibrium within yourself, equanimity, where there's this deep appreciation for who you've been and a realization that's not who you want to be anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Carl Jung says, I'm paraphrasing, you cannot do the second half of your life like you've done the first half of your life. If you do, you're devolving. You're immature. You're immature.
Yeah.
And so when you look back at your life, what I sensed from you when you said that statement around how you were with women,
Sure.
is I understood like that's how you were, but that's not how you are now, and that's not your
Correct.
intention now. So even if you just forget about first half, second half, just look at stages of life. Like that was a stage of your life that you've learnt from and grown from, and you're choosing to be different now.
Yeah.
And I would guess that the kindness and generosity that I feel from you as a human, right, which is the genuine nature that is you,
Yeah.
part of that has come from A, how you were, but B, how you've reflected on that and C, what you've chosen to do with that. Now, at the beginning, it would often be out of maybe guilt and shame.
Yeah.
And we, you know, it's not compelling to act from guilt, obligation or shame or
Sure.
fear, but sometimes we need that as a, oh, I feel guilty, I don't want to do that again. But after that initial shock of, okay, I'm guilty now and I'm not going to do that, can you come into, well, I love that part of me. I get where that part came from.
Yeah.
It was a rejected little boy that did this and that or what. And again, you're not excusing behavior, but you're just sitting with that part and just letting it be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about it and I'm like, you know what? Like maybe you played a part in someone's life that needed you to play that part or
100%.
right.
I was literally about to say that.
I literally think about that stuff all the time. And so like you could have a particular perception of someone and then someone else could have a particular perception of that individual that's just drastically different. And it's like, we're just all playing a part in someone's life. And that's helped me personally honor who I was. Like I had a fuck ton of fun, but I also hurt a fuck ton of people probably, you know?
Yeah, maybe that hurt. And I don't want anyone, I don't think any of us should play God per se.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But maybe that hurt as it unraveled for that person changed the trajectory of their life in the way that it needed to be changed.
100%.
And it's not for us to know or even comment on.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So I would ask you this, is everyone meant to heal? Like, is everyone no. You don't think so?
Not it depends what I would say again, because I think, you know, we live in a realm of paradoxes. Yes and no.
Okay.
Right? Do we all have the capacity to live from a more structured, authentic, clean, non-traumatic place within ourselves? Sure. Some people don't though. Like if you believe, if you believe in the theory or the reality of multiple lives, then you may say some people in this life are not meant to heal.
Yeah.
And it's their karma, it's their dharma, it's their path, and that's all it's their soul's evolution, the soul signature that they've come in with and all the layers of existence that play out in this lifetime is maybe they're not meant to quote unquote heal. They're not meant to resolve that thing that happened to them that still impacts their whole life, right? If you don't hold that view and you hold a view of this is our life, and let's say you're religious and let's say you follow a monotheistic religion such as Christianity, right? You may say, yeah, and again, depending on where you sit there too, like how dogmatic you are and so forth.
Sure.
You may say, well, yeah, once you absolve yourself, once you give yourself to Christ, healing is instant, you know? So it depends on your belief systems. They do inform how you navigate the world. Some people structurally, through their own physiology, the nervous systems are too shot. It's very, very difficult to find inner peace. Because what's healing essentially? It's at some level, it's an inner peace and a self-acceptance, neurologically, physiologically, psychologically, emotionally, relationally, spiritually, of who we are. Some people genuinely don't have the capacity to do that. Do I want that for everyone? Sure. But
it just might not happen, right?
for so many different reasons.
It's always interesting when I ask that question. I've probably asked it less than 10 times in 400 episodes at this point, but like it felt like it needed to come up here. And it's always interesting to hear individuals share on that. And yeah, I don't know. Like it's just, you look at people, whether it be your parents or people you're close to, and you know, we know what could benefit them to an extent. And it's just, hey, maybe they're just not, it's not for them in this lifetime. Yeah. I grew up Catholic. So like I was always preached at, yeah. Like I was always preached at in the sense like, hey, one life. And then, you know, you expand and it's like, hey, like maybe just in this lifetime, this is who you're meant to be, you know?
And maybe there's an acceptance in that, man. Like I don't want to conflate or confuse acceptance with complacency. That's not what's happening here. Like acceptance to me is a very deep surrender. It's a very deep trust that takes place. And often it's trust in something that is in the mystery, that is beyond our cognitive understanding and what we can foresee in the very, it's relinquishing control, right? Complacency is when we're lazy, when we use poor behavior as an excuse to not outgrow our patterns of destructiveness, or fear or contraction, right? That's not where we want to go in life. But you've got to be really willing. And again, like being willing often becomes a byproduct of your experiences and environment, and then what you make that environment mean and how you assimilate that, integrate that into your body. So what I mean by that is like you can grow up in the projects, or you can grow up in real poverty and stay in poverty all your life because that's what you know. That's what you think that's all that's available to you. Or you can grow up in poverty and then be walking on the street and maybe hear two people talking about this opportunity that happened. And maybe you're 12 years old, right? And then you start thinking about that opportunity and how they got out of poverty, whatever it is that you heard, right? You think maybe that's possible for me. Maybe that maybe becomes a stronger maybe, and the stronger maybe becomes more. And all of a sudden, because you're thinking about something that's possible, you're shifting from probability to possibility, right? Because it's that shift. And then you hang on to possibility, you slipstream and you stay in that lane a little more, and possibility starts to grow and flourish for you. Then all of a sudden you find ways, you see ways, you take action, little confidence builds here, and you move yourself out of poverty. That is a combination of your environment either facilitating the continuance of what you're experiencing, or your environment being so shocking to you that you're open to the smallest things outside of that you'll latch onto, and you'll outgrow those conditions. Did you ever hear that story about Cristiano Ronaldo?
I don't know which one you're referring to.
Of
Tell
course,
me.
sorry. Redundant question because so he was asked in an interview. What was he asked? Sorry, man. I want to get it right. I'm gonna butcher this, but essentially, he was asked something about his father. Okay. So he has a brother, and his brother went down a path of. That's right. Came to me. So he sorry, I'm
no, you're good, dude. You're good. We could always go to the phone too. I have my phone right here. We could Google that real quick.
But it was something along the lines of, you know, how did you choose the path that you chose? Yeah. And his answer was, how could I not? And it was because of his father and his upbringing. Basically, his brother was asked the same question. His brother said, well, same answer, how could I not? So Cristiano Ronaldo created this life of fame and fortune and skill and passion and everything else. And his brother created a life of crime and despondency and poverty. I didn't even know that. Yeah. Yeah. And they both had the same answer, like, how could I not? Right. So they perceive things slightly differently. So Ronaldo is living more in possibility, and his brother stayed in probability, which I think he followed his father's footsteps. And Ronaldo said, no, I'm not. Cristiano said, I'm not following my father's footsteps. So just to the point of, like, when we're willing enough, when we're really tired of being sick and tired, like we're sick and tired of being sick and tired enough, we see the opportunities to change out of our bad habits or out of the habits that limit us.
Do you think we need to get to the point of pain for change to occur?
I think, yes. I don't think we need to, but I think we do.
Why? I never. This is something I don't get yet.
I don't get it either. So the and I get asked this question often, and I think about this question often. The response or the exploration I have is, I believe it's the collective, where we are collectively, the collective conscious of humanity requires rock bottom moments.
Oh yeah.
And really sharp contrast to say, I can't do that anymore. So the sharper the contrast, the higher the likelihood of change occurring for the better.
Yeah.
Can we outgrow that as a humanity? Absolutely, I believe we can. I just don't think we're quite there yet. I don't think we're, for lack of a better term, consciously evolved enough.
I want to unpack this with you a little bit because I did therapy. My parents got divorced super young age, did therapy. I used to just go and count the guy's books on his shelf. I was in like 5th grade. Didn't take it serious. Yeah. But I probably really needed it because in adulthood, it's honestly what like really cracked me open and start like being able to have a conversation like this, right? But here's what I've come to notice. I no longer do therapy. And one of the things that I have really come to realize is that and I'm just going to speak personally, I can't speak for everyone. I have had moments of trying to force my evolution and crack myself open. But it's like life needs to give me something to work on. Meaning pain. For example, I haven't had a heartbreak in a while, right? But like heartbreak would be something for me to work on, crack me open more. Like I feel like we can't crack ourselves open. It has to be pain. Right? You track where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, I don't know. It's just so weird. Like I've been the person that's tried to get myself to the next level, go deeper, go deeper, go deeper. But life is just like, you're not ready to go deeper just yet.
Without the sort of sharp contrast.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're often motivated by either the avoidance of pain or the attraction of pleasure. Right, or both.
So then I would ask you, like, this sounds like a weird question. I've asked this in the past. Should we seek out, it's not should we seek out pain, but should we seek out experiences that might deliver us pain? For example, I'm single. I've been single for the last 1.5 years, 2 years, whatever it is. But like, I'm not super compelled to get back into a relationship right now. I actually said that to myself right before this interview. I was thinking about it.
Why? What's the come from? That's the most important thing. Not whether you want to be in a relationship or not. Is what's the come from? You got to get honest with yourself.
Yeah. Personally, for me, I would answer that, and I would just say I'm really enjoying being alone, having a season of being alone.
Then stay that way.
Yeah,
I'm a firm believer of every single one of us needing to spend time on their own, without being in
one
an
of the most
intimate
beautiful
relationship.
things.
Yeah, for sure.
But back to the question, it's like, should we seek experiences that might deliver us pain?
Yeah. We should seek experiences that challenge us. Because that's how we grow. And for me, growth is a prime directive of being human. Like if you're not growing, I don't even know if you're human. I'm serious. Like this age-old philosophical debate, like what makes us human? You have all these different answers and there's just so much liberation on it. And it's like, well, if you're not growing, you're not human.
Yeah.
Try it on for a second. Like, how boring is it to not grow?
But that's exactly why I'm like, I always want to get to the next level. I know there's other people. I mean, I've shared this on the podcast before, and like, there's all this feedback. Like, so many people want to get to the next level, but it's like life kind of puts a limit on what you're ready for. It's not like a ceiling. It's just like,
you know what the paradox is with the next level?
What is it?
That you have to integrate the current level. So
yes.
So that sort of means that it will feel like it's stagnation, that you're not growing, but actually you are growing.
It's integration.
Time spans make a big difference. So I'm talking about lifetimes and lifetime and all of that. Like, it's really difficult to, if you see your life as linear, it can be really difficult to be at peace with your life. Often.
Yeah.
Right. But if you say like, I want to get to the next level, well, pause, slow down, sit with where you are for a moment, ask yourself, is the simple act of sincere acknowledgement of where I'm at now, does that begin to get me to the next level or to the next opportunity or to the next version of myself? Because part of growth is not stagnation, right? But part of growth is just being where you are as well.
How do you, so you're talking about acceptance, and this is something I love so much. How do you, I don't know if it's accept, but how do you marinate in that place, right?
Yeah,
Not
the discomfort. Because if you're a high performer like you
want always excitement.
Of course. You not only is your body physiologically geared towards that, geared towards more and more intensity. We live in a culture where more is better. Right? And so it's hard to push against that grain. And I'm not saying don't be competitive. I'm not saying don't grow. I'm not saying don't be better than you were yesterday. Just don't obsess over it to the point where it becomes a detriment to you. It actually reduces your ability to grow.
I love that. How did you come to, like, obviously, like, I can't even imagine this. Your answer is probably gonna be like, Matt, it took me years. But like, you're coming to me with such like this groundedness about how you've been able to accept mystery. Right? Like, how did you get to this place of just being able to accept mystery in life?
Through a lot of pain.
That's what it took.
Like, I mean, yeah, like, but actually being with the pain, not avoiding it, and then relishing in the pleasures of life. Not when I say pleasure, I should say joy is a better word. To it, like really relishing and sitting in the joy, in the simplicity of the joy in life, like watching the sunset over the ocean.
It's a beautiful thing.
Seeing my little girl, my daughter, wake up from her slumber. You know, walking barefoot on the grass, being able to stretch and feel good in my body, like limber and loose, you know, having my health. Gratitude plays a big part in that, but it's facing the stuff that I spent so much of my life avoiding. And so integrating those parts, because that's wholeness, that's healing. When we're not in a healing state or we're not whole, we're by definition fractured or fragmented within ourselves, where we feel broken and we try and compensate for that brokenness. So the greater the pain, the greater the pleasure required to mitigate the pain. And so we compensate in all kinds of ways, usually extreme ways. Like we want more pleasure because the pain's really big. So maybe we, you know, take drugs, we climb the corporate ladder, we get more money in our bank account, we buy flashy things. Nothing wrong with having more money, nothing wrong with having, I notice you have a Rolex on. I love watches.
Yeah.
I'm a collector myself. Just sold a stack of watches I'm a little bit upset about, but I want to get a different one. Anyway, that's another point. But you know, there's another conversation. But I love those things. There's nothing wrong with those things. Come from? Like why do we have those things, or why do we gravitate towards those things in excess maybe?
Yeah.
Because it's often compensation, it's often avoidance. That's when it becomes an issue or becomes a hindrance to our lives. But when we're free in that pursuit and we embrace all of ourselves, we're just living life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just to your point, one more thing, like, yes, I'm at far greater peace with the unknown and uncertainty and the mystery than I ever have been in my life. And there are times, man, when it's hard to trust. It's difficult to trust. There's a lot going on in life. Things aren't going the way I necessarily planned or envisioned. And I can get a little contracted. I can move into probability, you know, and those are the times where I have to check myself. I need to slow down. I need to not avoid that feeling, that uncomfortable feeling, and just do, but just pause and slow down. Because it's something that we don't often do in our world, especially men and especially high performers, you know, the personality types that are high performers.
Yeah. I really appreciate this conversation. Like, I think this is what not just men need, but like we need, right? So I'm sitting here, I feel like such a student right now, and I would not change that for the world. It is amazing. I got asked this question once. I've asked it on every interview since, because I just thought it was like, it was good. It's a hypothetical, but if we knew what Steph knows, how would our lives be different? Hey everyone, pausing this episode to share something with you. In a world of hyper competitiveness, I think the best quote that I can share with you is that there is no one in the world youer than you, and that is truer than true, which is exactly why I wanted to share with you today about Brand Builders Group. It's an organization I've been working with over the last few months. It is absolutely incredible, and today I am sharing with you the opportunity to hop on a free brand call with a brand strategist to help you break through the wall of obscurity. We are in a hyper competitive space at the moment, whether it be on social or with your podcast or with your blog or with your books or getting on stage. No matter what your endeavor is, this is an opportunity for you to hop on a free strategy call with someone from the team to be able to help you navigate the waters of making sure that you are breaking through the wall and taking advantage of all of the opportunities that you most definitely deserve. Again, there is no one in the world youer than you. So no matter what the problem is that you solve, there might be other people that are out there that also solve the same problem, but there is a strategy that can be placed into your initiatives that will help you break through that wall with speed. So I want to share this with you. It is freebrandcall.com/Matt Labrie. That is going to be in the show notes of this episode, whether you're tuned in from audio or through YouTube, whatever it is, freebrandcall.com/Matt Labrie.
That's a good question, man. Who asked that question? It's a great question.
A gentleman, do you watch American football?
A little bit. I mean, I love the sport. I think it's
Yeah.
great.
His incredible gentleman. His name is Dr. Michael Gervais. He was with the Seattle Seahawks when they won their Super Bowls. He was alongside Pete Carroll and just like had such a great team. And we were just going back and forth. And he asked that question to me. I'm like,
Ask it again, please.
if we knew, actually, if I knew what
what
Steph
Steph
knows, how would my life be different? A hypothetical, because obviously you don't know what we know, and
Sure.
right?
Sure,
but
sure,
it's
sure.
just, I had no clue how to answer it.
I believe I'm sitting in a very similar space soon. What you were sitting in.
It's not meant to stump anyone, but it's
Sure.
It's meant to get those juices flowing.
I mean, quite honestly, the first thing that comes to mind when you ask the question, the first thought that I had was,
Let's hear that.
I don't think I know much.
Oh, I would so beg to differ.
Yeah.
I mean,
no.
You see my notebook?
It's not. I'm about to genuinely mean that. And so it's a really interesting question. Very simple, but very.
Why do you think you don't know much, though? I want to, is it because you feel like there's so much more for you to know?
Not only for me to know, but there's so much that I know that I fucking don't know. And I'm not talking about information about subject matter.
Sure.
I'm talking about action and execution, integration, and embodiment, and wisdom, assimilating in self. And it's just, of course, I know things. Sure, I'm not. I'm not
course,
unintelligent, but
you're saying from just like,
I feel we're so. Do you know who Carl Sagan is?
I've heard the name.
Okay, you know what would be really cool if when you edit this or when your studio edits this, in this moment you play a 3.5 minute clip. It's about 3.5 minutes called Pale Blue Dot.
Pale Blue Dot
by Carl Sagan.
What is it? Is it
Carl Sagan is an institution, man. He is one of the.
Yeah.
He's a philosopher and a cosmologist. He's passed away now.
Okay.
But he revolutionized space travel to some degree, right? Like really, and he's just a really beautiful human, gentle soul, very wise. But he's got this I don't know if he created it or someone else created it, but it's his voice. It's him narrating and speaking.
Okay.
And it is to me, it's so profound. Man, every time I watch, we'll watch it after this, right? We'll watch it together.
Yeah.
Every time I watch it, pretty much every time I watch it, I have tears in my eyes. It is so beautiful. And the music behind it, it's fucking awesome.
Amazing.
But my point in sharing it, and I want to know if you've seen it, because I feel we are so insignificant, yet we are so significant. Like this is the paradox that I'm talking about, right? So when you ask that question about what does Steph know? I don't know how how significant, and this isn't coming from a place of low self-worth.
Totally understood. Yeah,
Like,
totally understood.
I don't know how significant what I think I know is.
How do we, I wholeheartedly agree with like the fact that we are insignificant yet significant at the same time.
Yeah. Wait till you see this pale blue dot.
I'm excited to watch this, but it's how do we understand that? Because I can't tell you how many times I've thought I was like the center of the world.
Yeah. Well, again, paradoxically, and I don't mean to be a piece of shit here and just keep,
I don't think you are.
keep saying paradoxically, but we are the center of our worlds according to our personalities, right? According to our personality, but to our personhood, we are everything and nothing at the same time. And I know that's maybe very elusive language. And I guess the place that I'm coming from with that is, how do we value who we are and the things that we quote unquote know, but also really value what we don't know and what we have access to that we haven't quite accessed yet, which is, I know, infinite intelligence that lives in the cosmos, right? And how can we practice being humble enough to allow the mystery into our worlds, right? And I mean, we pretend as a society, just a generalization, but we pretend as a society to know so much, to have it all together, but we don't. Like, and that's sort of okay. Like, it's just, well, it has to be okay.
Yeah.
We don't have it all together.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, period. Yes, period. Like I think about it all the time. Yeah, like just reflecting back, I can't, and probably it still pops up where, you know, I think that the world revolves around me at times, and it's just like, I'm going to really sit with the fact that we are insignificant yet significant at the same time.
Yeah, but here's maybe another question. Like, is it a problem that the world does revolve around us and that it doesn't? And it either simultaneously and or it oscillates between that?
I think the problem is, and this is what was coming to mind, there are people in our world, including myself at times, who are in such a strong pursuit of being everyone's world. And I think that's what this has done. Virality, attention. And I think that has become the problem. I think that has become the problem, or has contributed to the problem, I should say.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I don't know if it's an attention thing. I don't know if it's what happens chemically inside of us when we get that.
We're all searching to be seen, right?
And it feels good to be seen.
It does. It feels great to be seen. But I think we're looking for that in the wrong places, from the wrong come from. Wrong meaning a maladaptive, unhealthy, unresolved, unprocessed wound that is driving the need to be seen in ways that, it's why often you'll see people, I keep attracting this kind of person that never really sees me, or that is abusive, or that is unavailable, because your need to be seen is coming from a wounded place because it's familiar. And that often stems to old childhood stuff where we're very impressionable as young children, right?
Yeah.
We're imprintable. We that's not even know that's the word, but we are imprinted upon our worthiness. And so self-esteem and self-worth is very important when it comes to how we connect and attract other human relationships and intimacy. And so if we feel unworthy, we'll often attract from an unworthy place, and we'll attract more of that into our lives.
Absolutely.
And so, we then are unfortunately seen by people that remind us of our unavailable father, right? Because that's familiar, and that's the pattern I run. I just see things as patterns. Like, if that pattern doesn't serve you anymore and you consciously want something different, you've got to break the unconscious pattern. But to break the unconscious pattern, you've got to make the unknown known.
Yeah.
That's a starting point. You've got to make it tangible. Part of what go back a moment about being the center of our world, like, we've got to come to grips with that we're not the center of our world, right? And at the same time we are, which is actually empowering. Because then from there you can actually make choices that involve other humans, because we're relational beings that consider other people. Yeah. And in considering other people, you get to learn more about yourself. So of course it's always an inside game, and the inside game is also involves other people.
When you say things are paradoxical, do you mean that there's two sides to it? Am I interpreting that accurately?
Yeah, or complementary opposites live simultaneously.
Yeah.
So like you can absolutely be the center of your world and you're also not in a relational context.
Yeah. That's so freaking good.
But you also are.
Yeah.
Because you're the one experiencing yourself in relationship.
I'm sitting in my mind.
So is mine, man. And these
My
concepts
mind
are
is just
fucking hard. The simplicity of it is be responsible for your actions, look at your past, envision your future, and just be better than you were yesterday. And if you're not, don't berate yourself for it.
Period.
You know?
We're done.
We're done. Like work with your shame. You've got shame. Don't make it a big deal.
Yeah.
Because that's what shame wants. That's what the personality and the ego wants.
Yeah.
They want you to make it, not they, but it wants you to make it a big deal. So you get stuck in the personality. My teacher calls it the mafia of the mind. It's like the mafia goes to a shop front and says, hey, you're going to pay me so I don't fuck you up. And I'll also protect you from other idiots as well. But that's what the mind does. The personality does the same thing. It's going to come to you and it's going to say, oh, I can't believe you're feeling shame about that. Shame on you.
Yeah.
Keeps you in the spiral of shame.
Oh, yeah.
We've got to be better than that. We've got to laugh at it.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
That is. Hey, I want to make sure that we are plugging in the incredible new book that you have coming out. Tuned in and turned on, a path to true connection, deep healing, and lasting love. My question to you about this, which, by the way, we're going to make sure the link for you to grab your copy is in there. In fact, I'm going to do something special with Steph to give out a few of these books. But when someone picks up this book, maybe they are gifted the book from this podcast. If they could only take one thing away from it, what do you want the one thing to be? And why?
That question that you asked me before around healing, like are we meant to, are we able to heal? Yeah, is everyone meant to heal in this lifetime and so forth? If you, the one thing that you can pick up from this book is that if you focus on yourself, you'll have more profound focus on yourself in a healthy way by healing, being a better person, right? You'll have by default healthier relationships. It is healthier relationships that become a direct pathway to God and to growth. And I really advocate that in this book, that when you do enough healing, it's not just doing, but when you be the person you were born to be, you open yourself up to the possibility of being in really healthy, mature relationships. That vehicle becomes a direct and very fast, and I would argue, and the book goes into this, the second half of the book, it is the fastest pathway to realizing the infinite nature of your divine self.
How? So you said something along the lines of like a healthy relationships, they lead you to God in a sense, right? How? I've never thought of this, so I'm just like super curious.
Of course, yeah. So for me, I was at a crossroads in my life, probably, it's been a couple of times, but the previous crossroads or the latest one was about, I'm 43 now, so it was about 10 years ago.
Okay, so around 33, give or take.
Yeah. And I said to myself, man, I think I'm just going to disappear into the mountains for a few years. Maybe go join a monastery. Like I'm pretty fed up with this life.
Yeah.
But I was coming from a place of not really wanting to embrace. I was trying to run away. I was running away, right? And I was at the crossroads of, do I stay in this life, in this world that I'm in, right? And open myself up to relationship, and what is the fastest pathway for me to grow, right? Like to really face all of myself, embrace and face all of myself, and see and love all of myself, and then really be able to function in relationship, not only with another woman as a partner, but in my friendships, in the world in general, right? And I sat with this for some time, months. And the place that I arrived was that I would, based on who I am and the things that I desire in life, I would have more impact here in the way that I move through the world now, not disappearing from the culture that we live in, right?
Yeah.
And additional to that is I had this intuitive feeling that this thing that I value, which is growth, which I had been seeking in different places and experiencing, whether, again, through plant medicines, through meditation, through working with teachers, through breath work, through somatic practice, through all the different modalities. Mm-hmm. This thing that I'm seeking, which is growth, like really deep, profound growth, I know I'm going to get an intimate partnership, an intimate relationship. I can't disappear from the world. The mirror that is relationship is so powerful, and if we stay present to it, it reveals so much. And there's only so much I can tangibly say about it. You have to experience it. Mm-hmm. So, and in the book, I go through the different pathways you can take. There's tools in there. There's examples of so many clients I've worked with the last 25 years. There's tangible ways to be able to experience that and stay in it. But most people, including myself, man, for the longest time, whenever I was inconvenienced, I just shut out. See you later. I'm done. And I never gave myself an opportunity to really grow, like to really come face to face with what is that person revealing, helping reveal about me in the way that they're asking or making a request, or the way that they're behaving. Like, why is that stuck in me? Because the reason why we don't grow is because we don't look at ourselves. We don't look at those uncomfortable parts, so they're never integrated. Give me a situation that is more confronting, right, than the most intimate relationships in your life.
It's insane, yeah. It's wild.
Not even big business, or there's nothing.
Nothing.
The only thing that comes close is maybe when you're by yourself and you're in life or death situation. Outside of that, where you're really pushed to your neurological and physical limits.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it is our closest relationships that have the greatest potential to reveal the most about us. That's why I think it is I think I've experienced it.
This is going to be a very potentially weird question to ask. Have you ever had a pet?
Yeah, when I was younger, yeah.
Do you feel that a relationship with a pet, this makes me sound like a fucking cat dad. I'm a dog dad. But the reason I ask this is because I wholeheartedly agree with everything you're saying. I think my last relationship, like looking directly at myself, called out on so much bullshit. And I'm like, wow.
Yeah, and if you face it, what happens? If you truly face it, let me say, can I say one more thing on
Please
this?
Do,
Please hold your thought.
Go ahead.
The thing that my wife, when she makes a request of me, like for example, hey Steph, can you be kinder, or can you not be so impatient with me if I'm asking you a question or whatever? And these are real things, by the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or can you, if you're upset or frustrated, can you not be mean? Right? That thing that she's asking me to do is really fucking good for me.
Yeah.
It serves me to not allow my frustration to turn to a protective strategy of meanness or aggressiveness. It serves me to outgrow that pattern.
But it only serves you if you have the mindset that you have.
Well, true. That's the willingness piece. That's the openness piece. That's the
Right.
acceptance piece, because acceptance breeds openness.
Yeah.
So when now you're open to the possibility of that, possibility, you can eventually, hopefully, grow out of that, but with a greater possibility and propensity to do so, right?
Yeah.
But the thing I wanted to hit home was that the thing that people ask of us, or the thing that people see in us, is good, often very good for us to change, and that's the power of partnership. When you feel safe enough to be real with each other.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing. I think where I was going with it is like, you have this thing that's alive, but actually can't communicate back to you. Right? So like I think about it and I'm like,
or in the ways that we communicate predominantly.
Exactly.
Which is verbally, yeah.
Yes. And I think to myself, like there are times where maybe I'm frustrated after a long day, right? Like I'm maxed out, whatever. You're going for a walk and maybe you pull the dog, and it's like, in that moment, sometimes I just think, I'm like, Matt, you're like, your behavior is being directly reflected back at you. Like the minute your dog looks at you, or the minute your pet, and I'm like, holy shit, like, is this also a mirror to me? right? There's like
Everything's a mirror.
everything's a mirror. There
Everything's
you
a
go.
mirror, yeah.
That's
I
what it
think
is.
This room is a mirror for us.
Yeah.
Everything's a mirror. Like I look at that sign here just to my right, your left, growing up Italian.
Yeah.
And I start thinking about my Sicilian grandparents and the things that we used to do and how we used to play in the garden, and we used to, plant tomatoes, and we had an olive tree, and we had chickens, and I just start thinking that signage is a mirror.
Yeah.
So
like everything.
I'm walking through New York, right? And I haven't been here for 10 years. I think I told you that. It's very nostalgic for me because I grew up as a kid. Watching TV was an escapism from my home that was very volatile and violent. But a lot of the TV that I watched would include news. So it's just nostalgic being here in New York. So it's reflecting back to me aspects of myself.
Yeah.
Sort of back to that conversation, like the world is all about us and it's not about us.
Yeah. It's so wild. Well, again, 2/3, February 3rd, book is out into this world.
Yeah.
I want to do something special for everyone that's listening to this or watching this right now. I think let's just make it simple for people. Like if you just share this episode on like your Instagram story, the first 10 people that do that, I'm going to send a book. 15 people that do this, like let's just get them copies of this book.
That's awesome.
I want to get this book out into the world. And it actually leads me to ask you, I wanted to ask you this. Why do you feel like this is so important the world receives now?
I think we're more disconnected than we ever have been, man. Like I can't tell you how many people come to me and say, I'm fed up with dating apps. I'm fed up with this virtual world. I want more physical contact. But people don't want to show themselves.
Yeah.
And they want to be seen, yet they don't want to let themselves be seen. Right. And so this book is going to support
Very
you
contradictory,
with that.
right?
Very. Well, we live in a world of contradictions as well. Paradoxes, contradictions, slightly different, but very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah, because our conscious self, our idealized self wants and craves for the things that we want and desire.
Yeah.
But the unconscious self that fears life because of unresolved, unprocessed trauma, wounds, whatever, says, nope, none of that. So we're in constant tug of war with ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So this book helps you unravel that.
It's important. It's important. Like I said, we're giving out these books. All you have to do, it's as simple as this, just share it. Share it on your Instagram story, tag Steph, tag myself, and you will have a copy mailed to you. I'm going to just put it out there. You have to be in the United States for this. So I'm shipping books to Japan and beyond. I don't know if we're doing all of that, but I want to make sure that these books are out there. And if you want to go the extra mile and order a copy, which you should, that will also be in the show notes in the description of this. But Steph, I've been doing this over like the past few episodes, and people have found it to be fun, kind of like a segment of finish this sentence.
Oh yeah,
so,
STEM sentences, I love it.
Like finish this sentence.
Before you go there, is it okay if I provide the link to get the book where people can get it?
100%,
Yeah, just so they
absolutely.
hear it as well.
Please
so
do.
Tuned in and turned on book.com.
Perfect.
Super simple.
Perfect. And like I said, that will be in the show notes in the description. But finish this sentence, first one for you. To stop abandoning yourself, the first boundary you need is...
The word no.
The word no. Why?
Because we often abandon ourselves when we contort ourselves and people please, and we prioritize the needs of others over our own. And it comes at a cost. It comes at a cost of our health. It comes at a cost of we feel resentment, but we do it because we so fear how the other person will see us. So when we say no, it's got to be a genuine no, obviously.
Of course.
So don't say no for the sake of it just to be combative, argumentative. But when we say no from a genuine place, because that's what lives in us, and we normally would just say yes, 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 that's power.
Have you lived that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and it's tough, man, because when people around you are used to you being a particular way and then all of a sudden you change, or even over time, it's hard for their ego, and they feel unsafe because they've known you to be a particular way. Now you're not being this way. They're like, well, what's going on? I don't know. You've changed.
Steph, you've changed.
But you have changed. And I have. It's true. It doesn't have to be the end of it is the end of the relationship. But we can continue a new one. Maybe I'm holding different values now in my life, or maybe I want to be different. I want to honor myself, but I still want to honor you. This isn't a thing on you.
Do you think that prevents people from evolving? Like
massively.
Yeah.
Because we contract and we go into fear and we're unwilling to really hear the other person. One of my teachers says, if all you did was to seek to understand the other person,
Yeah.
you're winning in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you are winning.
Yeah. I love that. The emotion most people need to stay with longer is
Shame.
You had that so quick. I kind of knew that one was coming. Shame.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to be, I don't want to come across as someone that loves pain, right?
I don't take you as that.
No, it's just, I sometimes do enjoy it because especially, anyway. But we just don't, we avoid the most uncomfortable parts of ourselves. And the beauty is, and this is something that I go quite deeply into the book, the moment we embrace all of ourselves, the moment we feel free, and we feel free from the thing that we've been avoiding. Mm-hmm. And what that actually gives you access to is joy, is bliss, is real pleasure. Like that's the thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It is. For deeper intimacy, stop trying to be impressive and start
Being yourself.
Yeah.
Being truthful. Being in truth. Truth is vitality. Truth is life force.
How do you know you're really being yourself, right? Because here's where I struggle with stuff. Like, and maybe I'm going to answer my own question a little bit. There were times I thought I was very authentic.
So what makes you think in the moment you weren't?
Looking back is when I think I wasn't.
How? Can you give me an
And
example?
maybe it's because I've evolved, and that's why I'm saying, like, maybe
Yeah, you're looking at it from a hindsight.
20/20 hindsight, right?
Thing, yeah.
Yeah. So
But
we can't do that.
No, well, you can do it, but it's just it's very
It's
annoying.
unfair.
And unfair to you. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look back then, were you making the most informed decision and choice?
No.
No. From that place of consciousness.
Oh, from that particular, yeah.
And were you being truthful based on what you knew and who you were then? In those moments,
Yeah.
the moments that you were being truthful.
Yeah.
Well,
that's authenticity, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just actually as simple as that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like when you evolve, and I appreciate, like, hey, like, yeah, you could do that, but it doesn't serve anything because obviously you've evolved. You're looking back 20/20 hindsight. So I appreciate the, the clarity there. But sometimes I think about it, I'm like, wait, was I inauthentic or?
Let's actually, do you mind if we unpack this for a second?
Please.
Yeah. So I just want to make sure we're not conflating something here. So when you say truthful, so you mentioned earlier around hurting women.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, just being mean.
Yeah.
Just like,
Yeah.
that was the approach. Like, let me be an asshole. And
Sure.
it worked.
Sure. Yeah, sure. It worked for the end result of fucking or having sex,
That's
right?
it, yeah.
Sure. The goal of that. So when you say truthful, are you referring to those circumstances?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking, I had a thought you maybe could.
Well, just in general, right? So let me,
That's not you being truthful though.
not necessarily in the situations with women, but like that version of Matt that was also doing that, right? So like, I'm talking about the version.
I don't know if that's you in your truth. I think that's you in your pain and your wound.
Okay.
Like that's the truth of the personality, but that's not the capital T truth I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So I think we should actually define that. That's why I wanted to clarify.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's important.
So you were being authentic to your wound. You were being authentic to your personality and to your ego, right? But you weren't being authentic to personhood, to your soul, to like who you truly are.
I think this is so important for people.
It's a massive
to get
distinction.
To. This is so important for people to understand. This is the first time I've ever thought of this. By the way, I'm 33 years old. It's the first time I ever thought about
So
that.
you've been berating yourself for a while.
This is so interesting to hear. So, yeah, I mean, I was being truthful to my pain. Like, should I have been and again, this is where 2020
I don't even know if you're being truthful to your pain or you were just unconsciously living from your pain.
Living
I don't
from it,
think you were
yeah,
living
yeah.
in truth.
living. Okay, but would that make someone inauthentic?
What do you mean?
So if they were living from their pain,
Yes.
does that mean they're inauthentic, or is their pain
Compared
who
to
they
what,
are?
though?
Would that make them authentic?
The pain is who they're allowing themselves to be.
Not who they are.
I would say underneath that pain, no.
Yeah.
Because that's an undesirable place to live from, but they're choosing to live from that. So we've got to be careful when we use it authentic, like authentic to what? Authentic to the personality or to the pain or to the ego? Sure, because it's in alignment. Like that's what the ego does. It's a means to, you are being mean as a means to control, right? To feel safe. If I'm mean, I'll get what I want. And if they try to hurt me, I'm mean and my meanness is bigger than theirs. Yeah. It won't hurt me as much.
Yeah.
Right. So is that authentic to the personality? Sure. But is that authentic to you as a loving, mature, relational being?
Your core essence,
Core essence. No,
no.
It's not.
Yeah.
What did Jesus say? Jesus said, the truth shall set you free.
Yeah.
I wonder what truth he was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not the truth that hurts people.
Yeah. Yeah. This is good, man. This is so good. I do have one last finish the sentence that I'm going to ask you a couple of last questions. This is actually good because you brought this up. I feel like these questions, I mean, I pre-planned them, so it feels on brand here. Last one is, if you keep repeating the same relationship pattern, ask yourself,
if you keep repeating the same relational pattern, ask yourself, what am I running from?
Why are you running from something if you keep repeating?
Yeah, my sense is that if you're asking that question around a relational pattern, it's a pattern that you don't like or you don't want to be with or you want to change. It's my assumption, right?
Yeah.
Can we assume that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then you ask, what are you running from? Well, the pattern that's not serving you in relationship, so let's just maybe find a tangible example, right? So in my previous relationships, not all of them, but many of them, I had a pattern of cheating, right? And so eventually I would just be with other women. I would visit prostitutes. I was deep into the underworld of sex. Like it was just, the shadow side of sexuality and all of that. And what I was running from was being seen. And I was running from facing my shame. And I found that when I was in a relationship, I wanted to consciously be in a relationship, but the moment we really got close, it felt a lot. It felt too much. It felt like I was being suffocated. And that was a pattern connected to my relationship with my mother, because there was enmeshment with my mother where she projected her emotional needs onto me as the eldest son because her relationship was ruptured with my father. So she unconsciously needed love and connection and so forth. And enmeshment's a very familiar phenomenon in parent-child dynamics. Yeah. Entanglement, parentification, emotional incest. It's called a number of those things.
Yeah.
And so what was happening for me is I was unconsciously projecting my mother onto these women, and I started feeling suffocated. And the way I would feel freedom, the antithesis of suffocation and contraction and constriction, is instead of partying or taking drugs or whatever, I would go be with other women and I would have relief. So I was running from myself. I was running from that pattern. I was running from the pattern of enmeshment that I wasn't looking at, or the feeling of suffocation. I didn't want to feel suffocation. Instead of actually saying, oh, what's happening here? We're getting closer. And I didn't have the maturity or the astuteness at that time to say, oh, she's not doing anything wrong per se. And I'm having these big feelings. I wonder what's going on here. I wasn't curious enough. Because I couldn't sit. I didn't have the fortitude and the resilience to sit with the pain, to sit with the discomfort. So instead I just distracted myself. Instant relief. Greater the pain, greater the pleasure.
What was the pain that caused you to change, though?
It was a breakup that I had.
It was? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, where she found out that I was cheating, and I just came face to face with her being hurt and all the stuff that came up to the surface of my own awareness from my childhood, from that relationship, and it was just this deep realization. It was a hard hit on rock bottom.
Yeah.
And it just shocked me out of my behavior.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, I can't live like this. I can't do this. This is not so unfair to people. It's so unfair to myself. I just didn't have the courage to face that stuff. And that's when I made a commitment to myself. I either end up in a mental asylum I either commit suicide or I get through this and I grow as a human being. Those were the three choices I had, and I wasn't stopping until one of those happened.
Yeah.
And ideally the third, like I didn't want to kill myself.
Of course. And now you're here to tell the tale.
Tell a tale of something, yeah, I guess. Yeah. Came close a few times, but
yeah. Dude, I'm so grateful for this. This was like mind-blowing. I'm not just saying that for the sake of saying it. Like there were a couple times I'm like, my mind has never went here. Steph, seriously, super grateful. I just want to remind everyone, tuned in and turned on February 3rd, tuned in and turned on book.com to pre-order the copy. But again, all you have to do is share this episode, and the first people that do it, they're getting one. So we are going to mail that to you. I'm going to ask you one last question, though. Yeah. Oh, and also Instagram, YouTube, like all of the things.
That's Stefanos Sifandos.
You're doing all the things, right? Yeah. All of that stuff is in the show notes. But last question for you, Steph. You make it to whatever year you want to live to, impact as many people, help people overcome shame, get more intimate, get more tuned in and turned on, all of the things, right? Like you do it all. But we could only remember you for one piece of advice. So like when I think of you, if God forbid we never talk again, when I think of you in the snap of a finger, I'm going to think of this piece of advice that Steph left us with. What is that advice?
It's not a piece of advice. It's a feeling. So I feel a lot of emotion around this question because I think about my daughter. And the inspiration for this, because I've actually been reflecting on what I'm hearing you say is, what's your legacy? And what's your imprint upon other humans, right? Or upon this planet, right? The energetic signature of this planet. And I think about my daughter and how much she has helped me see more of myself, and also faced, and my wife has as well, so much of my own, these demons that I've been still running from, in different ways. There's layers, right? There's always layers and levels. And I think about when I'm on my deathbed and my daughter is reflecting on the person that I've been, the father that I've been to her. Have I left her nervous system in better shape after having made contact with me? And so I think to myself, if every person I come into contact with, can I imprint upon their nervous systems, gentleness, kindness, safety, a sense of safety? Like, can I leave them better than I found? Not that that's in my control, but what is in my consciousness or awareness is how do I deliberately show up? Yeah. But that's a moment-to-moment thing, especially with people. With strangers, it's actually a little easier to do. But with people that you see every day, or you mix with on a very regular basis, you've got to think about that imprint every time. And so it's less about advice and more about that person senses and feels, oh, I feel safer in my body because of the way Steph was with me. I think that is advice, though. Like, I think that's something we should all try and do. Yeah. Right? Sure. Like, that's a beautiful thing, man. Yeah. That is a beautiful thing. It's a really hard thing because it means I have to get out of my own way and out of my own ego and my own desires and not to negate them, of course, but to, get out of my own selfishness. Yeah. It's definitely challenging. It is. Dude. Hey, man, thank you so much for this. Yeah, I mean, I could record for another 3-4 hours. Like, I'm just learning so much. I'm not kidding. I have a full notebook here. Super grateful for this. Truly, I am just ecstatic. And I hope everyone that is tuned in, didn't even mean for that to happen. Yeah. I love it. I hope that you're turned on too, or you could be when you pick up the book. But Steph, thank you so much, man. Thanks, brother. I appreciate you very much. Thank you.